Okay. Build that I've been working on my alt, mainly because someone in my chat a couple times has brought it up, is more of a whirlwind build for the minions. And now that I've acquired a few more skill runes on my main here, it's actually in a build that it was viable instead of just being an alt build. Um, so the main goal here, if it's confusing to anybody, is you're using cut and you're using the electricity to debuff the enemies. That's going to be where the main debuff is coming from. And I'll link on the screen here why you would use some of these abilities and how they work together. I might link how you make Whirlwind a little bit more tanky here. Tenacity works pretty well. These are the things I picked up. So if you picked up Cut, if you picked up Tenacity, if you picked up Chain, anything like that, and if you're planning on awakening your Illusion Axe as one of your first abilities, that would be one of the reasons why you'd go this build. So awakening your Illusion Axe with Awakened Origin is going to make it so that you can go with Convert Cold Damage and Status Effect Enhancement, get a big area effect on it, and then once you've maxed out all those abilities, which I haven't yet, and I haven't awakened my Illusion Axes yet, but once that's all awakened, and you have the Origin awaken, you're able to inflict status effects almost constantly with your awakened axes here, and that's going to allow you to run in, hop on the targets, freeze them, and then immediately start whirlwinding away from them, and that'll allow you to cut, get the electric shock up, and by then your minions should have killed the targets. So that's going to be one of the reasons why you can go this build. In the next screen, I'm going to link the defenses that you may need. Without Tenacious Regeneration and without the Shout of Justice, this build is very hard to perform in any high-end map. In low-end maps, it works just fine. In high-end maps, it was hard to keep the health up and run the maps at a fast pace. So that's something to keep in mind, and also keep in mind how many high-end jewels are in this, and that you may want to just use the build after you've decided that you finish your minion build and you kind of want to map a little bit faster. Whirlwind in most games like this always maps a little bit faster than other builds do. This is also helps with this build. Being able to phase through enemies with Whirlwind, things like that, help out a lot. It's also just a lot faster to just run through and use this instead of trying to stop and channel every few seconds. So that's one reason why you do it. So I've linked the gems on what you guys can do. You can screenshot those, do whatever you want there. And there is a final build for this, and I'm just at the very beginning of it. The Shout of Justice that we got, that was one of the biggest upgrades. This made sustain on the map huge, and it made it so that I could jump in, Shout of Justice goes off, and then I can start whirlwinding out without the creatures actually following behind me. And while they're following behind you, you have all of these electricity trails hitting you. The reason why we're using charge release is only because it's a lot more ease of use than the other electricity moves I've used. You can use any of them, and the shock chance is decently high. So the chance that you're going to shock the target with this is pretty high. So it's pretty easy one to use. And that's the main build there. You're going to switch in and out of your Unite Crowd a lot for defense. So a really good way to use the build, if someone makes this and doesn't really understand how to use it after you have it made, is a lot of what you're doing is if you have the money, you can unlock the trigger runes and make it so that Shout of Justice goes off when you use a crowd control. And how that would work is you would jump in, and either when you knock them back with your leap attack, or when you crowd control them with your freeze ability on the axes. So either way, you're going to be getting the ability to go off as you go in. So whenever you actually decide to go in, your Shout of Justice should go off, and you're able to go out and debuff the enemies while your javelins take all the rest of the aggro. So on really high-end maps, the creatures do chase you down, and no matter how tanky I've got my minions or myself, you will find yourself running away. So you're not going to always just be jumping in and whirlwinding around and having hunger heal you back to full. You're going to do a lot of jumping in and then running away with your Shout of Justice going off to slow everything down. The moment you do awaken your axes, you're going to be able to stay in a lot more often, as they're going to debuff the enemies and they're going to freeze them a lot more often. So that can kind of help you, but that's going to be the main setup for the build there. The inspiration for it came from just someone randomly that joined my stream, and they brought up and they showed me this screenshot. So I'll just throw that in here real quick. That screenshot shows kind of what an endgame build of somebody that was doing this did. And that's all they did. They just threw the screenshot in there and said, hey, look at this. And when they left, I kind of analyzed the screenshot and went, oh, you know what? I see how you could make this work, and I have all of these gems. All right, and then here is some alternate things you can do with your build, especially if you're struggling with the crit build and you just want to do something a little bit different. You can go with Pulverize. So we have Pulverize here. Couple different versions that I can use right now that work out. And the only reason why I haven't leveled Pulverize up and whatnot is I have an alt using them. But yeah, Pulverize build, it's going to allow you to build some more stats for your summoner. And also wanted to show off a few different defenses that you can get on your relic, because a lot of people try to build just offense for the relic when, you know, you may need defense for your character instead of trying to always go full into minion damage. So here's a few alternatives, and they do get stronger when you level up your relic. So the more you level them up, the stronger the chaos resist, the armor, etc. is going to go.